Hi, everyone. Good day. Thanks for joining today meetup. We are going to talk about agentic gateway. As usual, I start from the previous session's feedback. Sorry for the last month. I could not able to post the video because two reasons. One, I got a lot of feedback lately saying that a lot of sessions are happening mostly AI generated or fully AI generated without having a human understanding what exactly they are speaking and or the content is not so well curated. Okay. And also when we are giving the agent core project, right? So we are discussing on the last three, four sessions on agent core and most of the hands-on use cases. And we are doing a show and tell kind of session where we make it their Git repo open, where people can contribute. Couple of people reach out to me how they can contribute, and I really thanks one person. He really taken the code, given the feedback, and did some more refactor, and it looks good. Okay. Now, another feedback I got, this is overall general about the topics. The second thing I got a feedback is everybody is giving small bits and pieces of some kind of chatbot, some kind of rare concept. But if you're building something on an agent, what is the best practices? Okay. If I'm building an application leveraging agentic flow or agentic AI, how can I structure the code? How I can do end-to-end project? So that's what the whole ask. I taken us some time, understand what everybody's asked, and I put down the code in a well-structured manner. So the high recommendation for the people who are attending the session is you take this code if you are using a Copilot or if you are using a Cloud Code, use this structure as one of the reference. So all the code look uh, neat for your use case. Okay, how you structure your repository, how you structure your front end code, how do you structure your gateway, all those things will be look better. Okay, so let me take a quick law. So that's why I taken some time, put together the code and repo and everything so that it will become easy for anybody doing the application development. So let's start with where the repo is. Then I will start with the code. The repo is on this particular part. Okay, this is the path, DocPilot AI. I will keep this in the YouTube description as well as I'll update in the meetup message I am sending to all the participants who are planning to attend this session. Okay. So it has all the code. So if you look at it, uh, let me start with the directory structure. So here you have all the Docker related one. You have a separate composer file for the front end and separate thing for the back end. So this is how this is all properly structured. Okay, let me go over through our project. Then I will walk through the code in a detailed manner. Okay, so let's go and do the hands-on, guys. Okay, previous session we have a very good response from everybody, and let me go through our previous sessions and see how we. So we last session we have done on a code interpreter. So I gave them the complete walkthrough on the code interpreter end to end. We ran through huge uh, notebooks, how it will run with the code interpreter, with the sessions and everything. On the same way, the agent core, we have created the context of our agent core, everything. Today, we are going to focus on the uh, agent core gateway. Okay. So all those projects, right? These are all done in a very small scale. But this memory context agent, we have built in an application. Um, and this use case, I'm going to talk about more of agent core gateway. Why do we need it? Okay, let's keep a slide so on. So, what is an agent? From what is an agent? We are building a DocPilot AI, which automatically try the take the document, understand it, and structure it, classify it, and it will give you the reason behind it. Okay, and we do it at a scale. That's what it is. So if we cover in this topic around what is agent, what is Bedrock agent core, and again what is gateway. Just to recap first two section, then gateway a little bit do the deep dive. See, it's so many. If I went, I've gone through the whole AWS documentation. Around 13 to 14 sections are there on a gateway, but I'm just taken few things which I'm planning to use in a project, and I want to explain which everybody can correlate. Then we also talk about the project DocPilot. What is DocPilot? Okay. And quick demos and polls we'll through it. And again, as I mentioned, going forward, the idea is I want to build an application. Unlike previously, we take so much time, we don't want open source, but this time everything we are building and open source it. And anybody contributors who want to be part of it, feel free to connect with me. I can set up a quick call with you guys, what you are planning to do, how are you going to do, and we can have a proper development. Okay. And again, it need to be open source. Okay. Okay. What is expected for who is the audience for this session is you need to have a little bit of Python and JavaScript. That is good to have. AWS background, and you all know AWS MCP is GA now. So if you have a good, little bit basic understanding of AWS and understanding the nuances and hard code is not mandatory requirement for the beginners. But if you want to go to the next level, better you need to get deep into each of the services you are planning to use. Okay. Okay. So have you ever built an AA agent? Okay. And I went through these questions to few of the community members, and they all created in one or other manner, but they not done anything in a end-to-end manner. Okay. So what we are going to do is very simple use case. Let's say you want to process the invoice and check the GST number is valid or not. What the plain LLM would do, right? It just guess what the invoice need to look like because it have no context. Okay, where the invoice number look, where it is, all those things, and GST number. If somebody mentioned GST and then provided the GST value, it can find it. But if it is unstructured document, if the GST number was not provided in a proper manner, it cannot do it. Okay, and some LLM cannot read the PDF file. Okay, now most of the LLM, I'm saying if you're using a small LLM locally, it cannot do it. Okay, and if you're making a call, imagine if you have a third-party API, third-party layer where you need to call certain API to get those invoice, and you need to securely configure that configuration of connecting to that particular API, get the response back, the PDF file or base64. The LLM cannot do. See, LLM, you prompt it, you give an instruction, and you give you a system context. It can be a document format or PDF format or anything. It can give a response. But the agents, right? You can structure this workflow in a proper manner, methodical manner, using a tool call or to making an MCP call. Okay, that's what the agent is going to do. Okay, so how we are going to do this? I'm mimicking the GST API, guys. I'm not calling the GST API and all. I'm mimicking to be fact. Okay, but we can build a full-blown solution. The API gateway API, we have it. We can connect to it. So we read the file from S3, and I really don't want to simply go and use LLM for everything. And I want to use a classic OCR, which is a text track, and then have decision engine in our code. If there is that we are not able to extract the content, then we are using the multimodal to extract the content from the PDF or whatever the image or you are uploading. Okay. The reason why this cannot be done in LLM is LLM, it's a just instruction you are doing it. But in agent, you can create a proper system flow. Say that I'm uploading a file to S3. I just upload from the UI, go to the S3, and then it will try the OCR extraction will happen. And then you have validator. If the validator will check whether the OCR is able to extract some content. If not, it will call the fallback is going to call the LLM. So this way, I am not bound to any kind of immediate failure. It is going to call the Google. It is going to call the API. So it's going to call the LLM. From the LLM, we are configured the tools which will call the particular API to retrieve the data. if the file is not able to read in the PDF format, it may go fetch it from the base64 file again and then send it to the LLM. And that's how we are structuring this project. Okay. So as I mentioned, I clearly setting the stage saying that simple LLM can work if with a set of prompts, but if you want to build an application, it need to have some kind of agentic flow. That's where we need to orchestrate this flow in a proper manner. So it's LLM with a loop. That's what I mentioned, right? So LLM cannot act with a set of prompt. But if you are creating an agent, we are putting the LLM in the middle. Whenever it is needed, we are calling the LLM. And if the PDF is not there, it automatically calling the API tool by doing the discover. And because it does understand the PDF file which you upload, I am not the OC are not detected, and the same PDF file if may be corrupted or not. So it is thinking, and we are giving this fallback option to the LLM. It is thinking, okay, I need to go fetch this PDF file again from that API or the S3 bucket. It go fetch it, and then it will apply it will use the LLM to retrieve the content. If it is not content, if it is not retrieve the object, then it will follow the what is a fallback option. So we are keeping the LLM with a loop. Okay. Yeah, without the tools, as I mentioned, without the tools, the agent is just a chatbot. That's what the center core of what we are going to discuss. Okay, so we have discussed in a detailed manner about runtime. If anybody not gone through the session, please go through the session. We have discussed in a deep manner about the runtime in agent core. And then we also discussed memory in a detailed manner. We also given some project and we gave the source code in our previous session. If anybody not done this, feel free to go check on this link. Okay, because sorry, I will keep this. So if I go to this one, you can see this one. This is the memory, adding memory session. This is more of the code interpreter. This is about agent core runtime. Okay, so all the sessions are a little lengthy and long because I want to keep it more detailed manner so people can use it for reference. If possible, you can go on 2x and then run through it fast. Okay. And cutting down the session, I was thinking we can do in a cut the session into two, and then we can have part one and part two. And I feel like people are not taking that well. Okay, saying that better to have a continuity. So that's right. So we have discussed on a runtime, memory, and code improvement. Even during the memory, we were discussing about identity, how the session was maintained, how the JWT token will be created in bind with a certain session, so that there won't be any kind of um, it will create a unique information for your session. All those information we discussed. We are not touching the identity now, but we are currently going to focus on the gateway. The observability, we planned one session for observability. Soon it will come. And one more session we planned for a browser. I am building some use case for the browser, which you can directly apply in your environment. Okay, I'm working on that particular part. And recently, there are a few more announcements happen. Agent Core registry, and the next session I try to include that into the Agent Core registry. Since we have created multiple tools in multiple of our flow, we are going to create an Agent Core registry also next one. Okay. So what is Agent Core Gateway, guys? Okay. So if think like, okay, let in a normal gateway, how we take it is that rather than calling the direct lambda function, we have 10 or 15 lambda function. We will put a gateway in the middle, and then we will directly hit the gateway based on our request or the method. It will call the required lambda function and send us a response. That is our gateway. In a, think like the similar manner for the agents. Okay. So for the agent, what do you want to do? You want to connect to the data source. You may connect to certain tools to perform some defined action, or connect to the database, or it connect to your memory layer or database, I would say. You need to have a gate. Your LLM need to have a gateway, or your agent, not LLM, the agent need to have a gateway. So that is what the agent core gateway is going to do. Okay. You can use agent core gateway and call that particular one to call MCP. The MCP can be hosted in the Lambda function, or it can be a simple tool call. That is what we are going to do it. Okay. Um, yes, we are using MCP protocol to connect it, but it's not only MCP protocol, guys. The Agent Core Gateway, you can use it for A2A also. But currently, we are only focusing on MCP protocol. So how the flow works is, when anybody log in, so they everybody will log in using a cognito. It will create a unique token, and then all our agent will run on an agent core runtime. Once it's done, the agent core gateway, which we it will invoke, make a call. Currently, we are using a lambda function as one of the uh, a tool call. It will use it and make a call, and it use up all the our schema structure, everything, all our open API structure, everything was mentioned in a tool, as well as all the lambda function which is needed for was exposed as a tool. It use that particular tool call, and whatever the backend it's supposed to call, it will call and get the response. It can be your open API, or it can be a simple lambda function with say some kind of data processing. All those things can be done via that particular tool. Of course, since we are using Agent Core, even in our previous session also we saw how it will be observed. We are using a generative AI observability within our AWS to observe the fold call. Okay. So why we should keep the gateway rather than directly writing your MCP is, first of all, security. So from your UI, you can validate whether the JW token is authorized, and then gateway also authorized on that. Then we will be able, only if it is done, we can do the processing. And since it's a lot of moving pieces, the whole business logic is going to keep evolving. We can add that as a tools, and then the API, the gateway can go discover the particular tool and get the response. Okay. Of course, the scale also matters. It's a HTTP and it's a low latency, and all those things will, all the calls, everything will be logged into the. It uses OpenTel, but still it is using our CloudWatch GenA dashboard. We can see everything. Okay, so how we are doing is, even we created the call for calling the text extract as a service of the AWS, right? We use that as a tool to call that particular one, and it is hosted in the Lambda function. So HTTP, the agent core gateway go find out, okay, there's a step I need to do. This is a tools, which is a text extract tool. And within that Lambda function, we have called the AWS test extract to retrieve the, sorry, to extract the content from the document and share the response. Okay. And yes, all the inbound call will be within the cognito. The security is very important. That's why I'm saying, even in the memorization also we touch base on the security. But here, if you are calling anybody log into this UI and API, they are going to have a JWD and maintain the session. But if you are calling the service to service communication, it will use a secret manager, it use the IAM, and you can keep your secret manager in your uh, see, because you're connecting to the API, right? You can keep it in your secret manager. That is one thing. And from the Lambda function, which you are configured as a tools, you can give a permission, IAM permission, to reach the secret manager to retrieve that credential in your in your pipeline. Okay. When the API gateway try to call the tools, this is a sequence run behind that one. Okay, this is what we are doing it. So we are using AWS Lambda. I said the classify, test extract. Classify is nothing but few of the, there is one LLM call it is making, and the test extract is doing. Validate field is nothing but if you want to extract only 5 attributes from this one, I have defined few attributes. Okay. You can go keep on applying that conditions. Okay. Even you can create a knowledge graph for that particular kind of use cases. It extract only those fields from the using the AWS Lambda call. Okay. Then open API schema structure, and you can use your all the open API spec file. So if need to be called your particular tools, let's say if I want to call the example I was talking about, GST API, I'm talking about. If you want, you can create that particular schema structure there. If needed, it will use a particular value to go connect to the PDF file, collect the API credential and connect to it, get the PDF file and process the response. Okay. And all the native tools, yeah, this one you can skip because now you have a MCP in GA, so you can skip this one. Use that particular one if you want to call that particular native toolbox. Okay. Okay. Um, so in your gateway itself, you have a list of tools, and then it will give what are the schema, what are the tools available, and the LLM pick which tool is needed for your intent, call it, and then it identify what is a payload you are getting. And based on the payload, if you're getting a PDF file, the first step action in your agentic flow is use the text track to extract, and it extract the content, and then it do the validation. If you just to have a validate, that's what we give it in the information. So if you want to do the validation, it will understand, okay, I need to call the validation tools. It is another Lambda function. It use a particular tool and do that validation and send us a response. Okay. That is how we are doing. Okay, let us get into little bit of, okay, the DocPilot use case. Okay. Uh, okay. So these are the three things: is first to classify, it extract and validate the field. Okay. And give that accuracy. DocPilot. Okay, let's go. Let me first start from the UI for your better understanding. Later on, we can slowly pivot to the code also. Showing in a UI make much more easier for you guys. Okay, I have one nice diagram which is created by our copilot, our hero. So architecture. So this is what the architecture we have. All right. Let me open it. So this is what we have. We have built the React UI built via React.js, and then the agent core runtime is running, and it use MCP over HTTP, and Lambda target is what mostly we are using. It use the classification document, extract the document, and validate this one. All are we are using a Lambda, and we all expose as MCP tool. And this other service underneath it is using. Okay, it's a high level. If we go to architecture, use other thing. So similar thing, I use this information to create the diagram. Let's go to the code before that. Okay, these are the things I want you to show. Okay, let's go there. So let me go to the Amplify console, then Cognito, and then Agent Core. I ran this long before and I got it multiple work, so I could not record it, but I can show you those things. Which time? Just 4 weeks back itself I did it. I've taken time to document and create this PDF file. So if we go, click on the gateways. This is the DocPilot gateway. Okay, you have everything. This is our gateway URL. Okay, so go to the MC. Now we need to have security content. So list tools are there. And this is the authentication Cognito. I can use this also. I'll open the Cognito from there. Let's open the Amplify for the UI. That stack runtime. I'll walk through the code also, guys, but I'm just going you through the full flow. Sign. So when I click on sign in, it is asking for credential. Let me go one by one pool. So this is a credential. I'm using it. If I go to the click user, so you have multiple things. And go ahead if you want to be part of it. Uh, let me, okay, I'm able to log in. So you let me know if you are interested. Ping me. I can give you this on access case, but I'm not giving it wide access because it is using LLM. I don't want to burn down the token. Okay. So now this is a UI we are using, React.js small UI. And then if I shown you for logging in, we are using a Cognito. Now let's go to the next one. What is the backend, how it is running the agent core? We will go through the agent core. Go to the runtime. Did it last month itself, but that's why it's take some time for that. So I did multiple deployment. Last one day, this time, last 2 days. Okay, what is how much traction? Okay, this is the uh, agent core. We deployed it. Okay, and this is our endpoint. Okay, and in this endpoint, it is going to call our this endpoint ARN. That's the endpoint URL will be there. It's run as a process. Version 4. We built using a strands. Okay. This is a role we given it, and this is a function. Let me go to the gateway. Identity also configure. In the gateway, okay, this is what I want to show you guys. Okay. These are the targets we are calling. Okay. Let me go to the target. So extract is one of the target. This is OpenAI schema structure. See, this is schema structure we are using. Okay. So it understands the structure and understand the intent of it. Okay, automatically, and if you are giving in a flow what to be done in our agent core, it understand what target need to be called. If I want to classify, I have to classify this. I am going to use this target, and how it has a clear details, classified upload document, and the input will be like this. Okay, the input schema, and the required is you need to keep that information back to the S3, and then you can display that in a screen. That's what it is doing, right? So these are the targets we have. Okay, okay, now let's go to the outbound doc. So DocPilot also I created. Yes, it's authentication. How every time it's use a particular one and it is using the secret manager to get that particular value for each. If you want to connect to any of the data source, if you're using API to connect, currently we are not using it. If you want to use the API kits, so it will use this information. I'm not clicking that secret value, but this is how. You can go to the API gateway. You can see a few more information also there. I'm just seeing what is happening behind the scene. Here it is. Dot stack API. Okay. Which one it is? Okay, I'll walk through the code and then I will run through where this integration request are coming. Because here it will bind to the API gateway AR. That's what I want to show you. From this request, we'll bind the API. This is upload API. This is a stack API. This is for uploading the content whenever we are UI, we are doing it. Okay. Okay, here it. Ah, okay. I'll walk through this one. Okay, okay, here it is. There's supposed to be, there's a change in UI, guys. Okay, I will walk through at the end of the session, okay? Because this UI I had not seen when I was doing that code build, okay? Let us go to the UI. Let us do some small demo. I am browsing the file and let me open that image, okay? So download this image. If you look at it, the next one I'm building is the chat feature for this, okay? This is what we have. It's a completely tax invoice, all those things. But I have clearly told this is going to only work for a some kind of GST or some invoice. I don't want, okay, to use for certain bills now, but I'm uploading this one. Let's see what it will find. So process the document. For the first time, I'll feel that little cold start. It's classifying the document. So that is where your enterprise knowledge base need to look like. Okay. Um, if you already have a set of documents you classify, let's say you are a part of a medical company, you are thinking it's a claims or is it going to be a patient records. So you have to need to classify. Okay. If you're not able to classify, it will automatically uh, send out. Okay. The current one I mentioned is not classified. Okay. So let me apply it to some kind of payslip. So because I clearly told in our classified document, only this need to be classified. Okay. Only you need to process only these kind of documents. Now, let's say I will say in bank and okay, I already have one invoice. Let me go and show in a desktop. Um, okay, some invoices there. Okay, sample invoice I have taken. Let me go, click on new document, process the document. Sorry, browse, desktop, and go click on this one. Upload it. Okay, now it says it's an invoice. Look at it, okay. So it is, and also if within your organization, this invoice is part of your pipeline, only you are processing before uploading to ERP or any system, you want to do the validation, right? If it if you have a certain list, you can do the validation also. In the validation, you can tell these are all the entries you need to be there before you are uploading to the ERP. Those rules you can write it in your validation one. Here, this is saying net amount is 1212. Let's see whether it is extracted as expected. Okay, so let's do something new. I think I'm going to process a new amplify. So when we say classify, it is calling the classification API. Okay, it's second time it is using a classification document. It is saying it's an invoice. Then it is validating the field. Okay, it says John Smith. Okay, the vendor name is not there. This particular field is not there. It need to give. We should not commit back to the ERP. Those kind of conditions you can write it. GSTIN is not there. Okay. So because I'm waiting for the GSTIN information that need to be there if I want to update to this one. So the ideal is if you have a more documents, if you want to update your ERP, you currently are doing the manual entry, right? So you can upload this um, document into this tool and you can create a condition, you know what, before updating in my backend, I want to these all the fields need to be validated before you are writing to this one. You can just upload the file. It can be any format. It will validate. If you look at it, this validation, you can see the subtotal is 145 and total amount is one this. This is our invoice date, invoice number, everything is there. But since I'm using a US one, it don't have vendor name and GST one. That's it's not. So it will keep a human in a loop before updating to the ERP. That's the idea. Okay. Now let me put one India invoice contains. Yes, I'm not done it, guys. I'm not done this testing. I'm just going to do it in the live here. So take an example from the clear tax. GST, no, I don't know why it is showing. We can take any example. Prime image in the tab. Okay, it's showing something. Oh, it is redacting the information. I want non-redacted data. Okay, an image in the tab. Okay, it has all the things correct. You have CST, GST, and everything. Okay, let's try. I'm dying. I'm using some document which I have never seen. I'm taking as a screenshot, so it will be image. I'm testing in the tool. I'm doing a live testing. Okay. Click on new document. Okay. It's okay. It is taking from the memory the previous one. Ah, it is late. Yeah, it's taking from the memory from the previous one. Let's run this one. So you need to invalidate the cache session. Browse files, screenshot. Let me do one thing. Let me do clean this. Browse files, screenshot. Today, this is the one. Process the document. Let's process the document. So classifying the document, it should classify as an invoice. If you want, we can try something else also. Let's say PAN, Aadhaar card or something. I don't want to try those things. Um, okay. See, since it's an invoice, it is extracting all the information. Oh, the validation is failing. Okay. It is extracting all the information, vendor information. Okay. So the GSTN, it is looking for the particular value in a GSTN. Okay. I will go and check on it. Okay. Why this all things. Okay. Happy to, if anybody are able to look at the code and ready to contribute, it'd be great. But it is doing the extraction properly, but this validation is not doing as we expect. Okay. It given a reason. Okay, this applies GST invoice from Karnataka state. The document was successfully processed by extract and extracted the 25 people. However, the validation because field mapping between the extracted data and expected invoice field need adjustment. Oh yeah, this is giving the reason. Okay, so where we are using in LLMS, we upload the document. In our flow, we clearly told you first to classify. Based on the classify, use the extract, which is just to the OCR, and post that it will do the validation using LLM and make sure you are mapping the field properly. If there is field is not mapping, give us response. If all the fields are good, you can submit back to your backend API. That's what the I want to develop using this pilot project, DocPilot project. Okay. Okay, so far so good. The demo wise, let me go. We have clearly articulated what is Google Doc, what is the AgentCore Gateway, how it will connect to the backend tools using MCP. And it can be API or it can be a Lambda function. You can do those functionality using API agent core as a center gate, and you can keep your secret manager in your secret manager. The Lambda function can act as your backend service, and you need to expose that open a schema structure. What is this Lambda function? Like how we have seen as a target, it automatically performs task. Let me go and walk through the code. The which is a feedback from the team members on how I structure my code. Front end, you can directly use this repo as a base repo. Of course, please remove this files, okay, and remove this doc file, DocPilot, and everything, and use this as a structure. Inside your Docker, you can have all your front end code and the back end code. Currently, I'm hosting on Amplify, and for the front end, it have all the codes in the front end. Okay, I'm using a simple React.js. Then gateway, you have the tools. Okay, you have the particular Python function. Okay, under the tool, what are the gateway you have? You can keep it classification tool, text extract lambda function. You see, this is where we need to edit it. Okay, see guys, the tool is speaking all those information. You can map it in a lambda function, or you can use it in some other knowledge base. It can be your database or MongoDB where you can do this validation. But this is about the text track. It is using a text track as a Boto3 client. And classification, it is simply using the Bedrock to classify you. I'm just saying only this are the thing. So you need to do it. I don't want to do for everything. If you want to have more classification, you can create the invoice and everything. And you can give more text, anchor text on what is this invoice, whether the commercial invoice, GST invoice, or bills, or purchase, all those information, you can do it. Even it worked very well for the image, which I have taken a photography, which is the text are very small, still it worked very well. Okay. Then you have upload URL, which is nothing but okay. Validate URL is what it's very complex, where you before updating your backend, you are doing it. Okay. So this is the rules I was talking about. Okay. So you can keep this is more than rules, I would say. This is on a knowledge of what is needed, okay, before updating into your backend database. This one you can keep it as a separate a service. I would say better you can create as a separate service, and you can configure that as an API. That'll also work, or you can keep it in a simple knowledge base and validate. For our use case, we have kept it within this one. This is about the gateway and infra. So what we need to create is we need to deploy this whole stack. I want to keep everything in the infra. So the lambda function, feedback lambda function, everything I kept here. If you want to have any test in local, you want to test it local before deploying it. If you want to deploy the front end and deploy with the, any other tools, keep it under the scripts. Okay. So all this agent information, you can keep it in a pattern, but here it is just calling that particular gateway and doing it testing in local. Okay. All this translated when it is using, you can keep it in the pattern. So if you are structuring like this code, it is easy for you to develop. These are the main folder, guys. Okay. So front end, gateway, infrastructure CDK, and this will create your end-to-end code in a detailed manner. Of course, amplify.yaml file for deploying the amplify. Okay. So that's all I want to cover. Okay, so this is, as I mentioned, it's completely open source. It's here in the GitHub. I will publish this GitHub also in a YouTube link, as well as I put it in a meetup. Have a glance at it, look at it, and I wish you guys play around and share your feedback. Okay. Looking forward for the next session, which is the browser session, which I'm planning. I'm still building those things. Once I have a better shape of the project, I'll schedule and I'll share it with you people. Thanks for tuning in with the Data Labs. Happy to have one more session, upcoming session soon. There are a few more things that are coming on your way, guys. Okay, this is about AWS Community Day. Okay, so let me share the AWS Community Day Bangalore. So AWS Community Day Bangalore is happening on 11th July 2026. And we have closed the CFP, but we kept a few slots open for the community members who really build something hands-on. Guys, nobody can escape writing the code via Copilot or any of your acceleration code, Kiro, or any of your favorite IDE, and you're building the code. And you can create a PPT also, this one, but keep the soul intact. What problem you're solving? If you are putting 50 people in your audience in the session listening to you, what problem which they not aware or which you are solving and how it really benefited, some soul need to be there in your content. Okay. So if you are really solving some complex problem and you feel like you are doing a fantastic job on the solved knowledge on problem which somebody I can happily share and be proud of, okay, reach out to me. I want the clear details, what problem you're solving and how benefit it is, and how what are the challenges you faced, how you solve that particular problem. So those are the things I really want to hear from you. Reach out to me if you have an interesting session. If I'm convinced, I can able to accommodate that session in a AWS Community Day. Again, AWS Community Day happening on 11th July on an immense center. Last year, we have fantastic session. Around 800 people joined in the session. And the tickets are open. The early birds are still open. Anybody interested, go ahead and buy your tickets. And we're expecting bigger audience now. Even we are planning for a lot of booth for startups, young startups, and founders who want to share their thoughts. A lot more are coming. Interesting session. It's a one full day event Saturday, and we are also planning for a workshop. It's a full day workshop, not full day, three half a day workshop, 3 to 4 hours of workshop. We are planning on 10th July. Um, Anybody interested? First buy a ticket, and soon we will roll out the workshop details. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we will connect back soon.